welcome to another episode of Rich Ad Poor Ad. We're back in business this fine Friday afternoon. Today we have a very special guest, Blake Driver. He is the co-founder of the advisory marketing agency, and shoot, this guy makes it rain ads like nobody else. And I guarantee you have seen some of these ads floating around, no doubt about it. But hey, thanks for coming on, Blake. We'd love to kind of give you a little introduction about yourself there.
Hey, thanks for having me. Stoked to be on and dive into these ads. Just a real quick introduction here. Been doing paid media buying for about 5 years, probably coming up on 6 years now. And yeah, that's just super high level overview of it. I think everyone else could go to our website to figure out more.
Heck yeah, we'll give you a little plug at the end of it too to make it easy for everybody else. But cool. So, everybody, Blake, you want to go ahead and tell everybody who we're talking about today?
Yeah, so we're going to talking about two different ads that I ran for Truff Hot Sauce, and I'm sure that many of you have seen some of them. And do so we're going to start off with talking about the poor performing ad, and then I
Yeah.
think we'll get into.
Yeah. So everybody, we're talking about some Truff Hot Sauce. Their ads are all over the place, and we're gonna go ahead and dive in on that poor ad, rip it apart. Tell the story behind it. Why it didn't work, what could have made it a little bit better. But I'll go ahead and kind of start off and kind of read off that poor ad. Actually, all right, y'all. I'm gonna read it out for you and get nitty gritty up in this. So, some of the best barbecue plus the best black truffle hot sauce. Who would have thought? You got to try it. The world's first black truffle hot sauce. All right, Blake, rip it apart, man.
Yeah, so the video of this is it's a really high produced video of our black truffle hot sauce being dripped over this really tasty and delicious barbecue plate from Slab, which is a really tasty barbecue joint out in LA. And it's really high production quality, shot with a really good camera, slow mo of the truff going over pretty much everything on the plate. And the reason why, like Truff, we came into the mindset with Truff is in the business to make people hungry, right? If you look at the Instagram, if you look at our ads, they're all tailored to make you hungry, because if you're hungry, the sauce looks good on the food, you're going to buy the sauce, right? So what kind of took us by surprise is we had a lot of these type of ads produced, and while they're amazing for organic, they're amazing for brand. What we found is for direct response, they aren't our top performing ads, and specifically this one. And what is the main problem here is that it's too highly produced. It's
Mm,
not raw. So when people are in their feeds scrolling, there or going through their stories, the stuff that's not as highly produced, it looks more organic, right? It's more native to the platform. Where here, this is clearly an ad. This is something that your buddy did not shoot. This is definitely something none of your friends put together. This is a highly produced video. It's tasty, um, but it's definitely not something that looks native to the platform, and that's part of the reason why we believe that this type of video, this style, didn't perform well, and specifically this video for us.
man, that is super interesting. Of all the ads we've had, we haven't had one for the quality of being too good. It just threw people off. But I've heard of this happening for other brands, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it just is too overproduced. I mean, there's a chance that we might and sometimes in the comments like, oh, you're dripping too much hot sauce on it, but that's good. Like, we like to kind of make people mad, get them to comment, get it going on. Another thing is it could be like, people don't want to watch the whole video because it is just hot sauce being drizzled over it. But what we've kind of found out is through testing like a bunch of different styles, it really just boils down to we think it's too highly produced for what we're trying to do, and it doesn't come off as, I would say, authentic or possibly engaging because of that.
Now, in y'all's opinion, or for, I guess more in your concept, for this ad to be a failure, did it just not hit the quota of the rich ads, for example, or did this one just really kind of crap the bed and go negative there.
Yeah, it really just wasn't anywhere near the ROAS or CAC that we needed it. So it really was underperforming compared to a lot of the stuff we had ran previously. And compared to the rich ad, it wasn't even close.
That
So
makes total sense.
yeah,
Now,
this was a strikeout completely.
man, yeah, and I mean, it looks delicious. It reminds you of like those ASMR videos that are just really slow and quiet. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like food porn.
Exactly. And I mean, I think this would appeal to me, but hey, the numbers don't lie there. Now, if you could take this ad and do something to it to make it different, to make it perform better, do you think it would be to, swap out that video or maybe somehow make that video a little less quality? Or how would you try and revamp this bad boy or just completely start from scratch there?
Yeah, I mean, if I don't know if there's anything something that we might be able to do if we just were like, hey, let's take this exact video and try to work in something to it. We might try to throw some motion graphics over it
Mm,
and do some like speed ramping in post to kind of like break it up a little bit and maybe catch the eye and keep people pulled in a little more. Try to tell a story with the ad in the video instead. Um, so that's something we would do. Or alternatively, it would be interesting if you had a person, some type of talent in the shot who would then like who you saw actually pouring it on the barbecue sauce, then eating it. Um, I think might be a better approach to that, and maybe something shot. It could still be shot on a really good camera, but you can make it look more native, right? It doesn't have to look as highly produced if you do that.
exactly. Now, this is kind of a funny concept in the back of my head. Before this, rich ad, poor ad side of things, is your most expensive video the poor ad, would you say? Or is it not, was it not that expensive there, I think?
So this video would be more expensive for sure than the rich video that we're about to talk about.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's funny. Hey, you gotta love how that works out. Well, y'all be able to check this out. We're gonna be screenshotting this and putting it in the show notes. I mean, it looks like a killer ad, but I mean, numbers don't lie. And I mean, at the scale y'all are at, I'm sure y'all can see a ton of data to whether it's gonna work pretty quick or not, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. We think it's a great brand building piece. We still continue to make content like this because it's great for the brand. Lives well on organic, but just for paid, we know it's something that we'll typically stay away from.
And how long did this ad run for, you think?
It probably ran for 3 days and had a very good amount of spend behind it, where we could kind of see that it wasn't going to hit.
Shoot, man, that was a quick little pull the trigger there.
Yeah, it's either I mean, I feel like most of this stuff, it's either you can tell within 72 hours if this thing's going to hit or not. And we have such a backlog and a steady stream of content that if something's not hitting, we know we can just pull it out, put the next thing into rotation, and let's find something because our winners, like the rich ad, it hits right away. First 24 hours, we knew it was a success. And that's what we're looking for.
That makes total sense there. Well, heck yeah. Y'all make sure to check out this poor ad because it does not like poor. But hey, numbers don't lie there. So let's go ahead and dive into this rich ad. From what we kind of spoke about, this outperformed all the other ads, shoot past 35%. And at scale, I would imagine that's massive there. But I'll go ahead and kind of start reading out that copy because, shoot, this is a very different type of ad here. So we got cooking at home. Enhance your next meal with a truffle hot sauce that is guaranteed to take your meals to the next levels of flavor. Bring the gourmet home. And this video is very non-professional shot. It looks like it looks very user-generated oriented. It looks super snazzy in a very different angle than the last kind of poor ad. You want to go ahead and rip it apart for us?
Yeah, so we launched this ad. So this was a video ad that was already running previously. And I'll get into the video and then we'll talk about the copy after because we redid the copy on this ad recently for a specific reason. So the video, we had past data that had shown at Complex Con 2 years ago, we shot a video of people tasting the hot sauce and it did really well. So we wanted to recreate something like that this year. And so what we decided to do was go to Smorgasbord in LA. and basically would go up to people, ask if they wanted to taste test the hot sauce, and then film their reactions. And that's basically what we went around and did to a whole bunch of different people. And what I think why this ad works really well is because you're seeing people's genuine reactions to the hot sauce, right? It's really hard to, like, when someone's acting, you know it. It looks fake. You can tell it's fake. Um, this right here is real because nothing's over the top. No one's like, "Oh my god," jumping up and down, screaming, running. It comes across as a real ad and very genuine. And I believe that's why this works so well. And the unique thing about this ad is we've been able to run it for a very long time without experiencing creative fatigue. I think because the ad is so genuine, right? And it's still shot on a good camera, but it doesn't have that same high production quality feel as the poor ad that we were just discussing. Now,
No, I was about to say, man, y'all either hired some really good actors or this is just some really good stuff.
thanks. Yeah. And it just, yeah, it was something that was just done very quickly in a day. And what's interesting about this, so the copy around it, the cooking at home. So we had this ad running previously, but when COVID hit, we knew we had to shift our messaging. And a lot of people, obviously, since everyone was quarantined, were going to be cooking at home. And they're probably going to be, since they can't have new and fun experiences anymore outside of the house, we knew we wanted to kind of entice them with a new and fun experience that could happen inside the home with cooking. So that's our reason behind like the headline, which is bring gourmet home, is like, look, you can't go out to have a gourmet meal. We'll have a gourmet meal at home with Truff.
I love that. Yeah, that quarantine angle did some wonders. Is this one y'all are still kind of running currently and it's still performing pretty consistent with that
Yeah.
same copy?
Yes. Yeah. It's still performing consistent. And we're still running it.
Hell yeah. Now, with these, are you building these ads on the actual Facebook page's posts and then taking those posts and running them within ads, or are you building these in somewhere else?
I just have a inside of Ads Manager. I just have a campaign called Ad Builder, and I just build all the ads in there, and then grab the post ID.
Okay, because yeah, that's I've been loving that more and more to where most people build an ads manager, but shoot, if you can put it on the page and get all that social proof where it's super organic looking, that does wonders there.
Yeah, we do post. We do. Well, we'll post every single ad to the page, but sometimes we're just not able to make it look exactly the way we want to be organic. So, and sometimes some of the copy we'll write is a little too salesy, I would say, to go ahead and post on organic. So it just makes more sense to kind of make it a dark post.
That makes total sense. Y'all ever have any ad disapproval issues?
No, not really with Truff. It really haven't had any problem with ad disapprovals at all.
That makes total sense there. Yeah, man. I mean, I want to say I'm not. I think the first ad I ever saw from y'all was that little guy dancing in the sauce, and that had to have been I feel like a month to a month and a half ago, and we got that white truffle sauce. And man, I
Yeah,
love. I'm
yeah,
a.
thanks. So that ad is has been a top performing ad for us, and it's worth talking about because I think a lot of people saw that ad,
Yeah.
and I think it piqued a lot of interest. It's definitely probably the most one of the most different ads I've seen on social, and
Hmm.
it did very well. And the reason why that did well, now that's a highly produced ad, right? That ad probably costs more than the poor ad, and it's highly produced. And the reason why it worked so well was because it's weird, right? It's different. It's not like anything that you've probably seen on social media or used to seeing. So it's weird, it's catchy, and I think it makes you pause in the feed. And that's why it does so well.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I'm 100% gonna post this one because, I mean, we'll make it clear to the people. I found Blake on Twitter, so I mean, I want to say you retweeted one of your ads, and I'm like, dude, I've been seeing this all over the place. I would love to get you on this podcast. So it's probably one of the most captivating ads I've definitely seen, in a while. So I mean, I would only imagine, definitely not cheap there, but hey, that's a rich ad for sure.
Yeah, and it's been really great. Um, the one thing that we did experience with that ad, I would say, would be a quicker burnout. than, let's say, the rich ad. And it's probably because, like, once you've seen it, you've seen it. That would be my guess on it. Whereas maybe this ad, I don't know, it's just more genuine and human would be my understanding. That, but I don't really have a solid reason for why this taste testing video has been such a powerhouse versus the dancing guy, which did well for many weeks, but then kind of tapered out. um that part's very interesting to me.
That is, and I mean the way you kind of put it to where it's a guy dancing. There's nothing special. There aren't any kind of reactions to it, so it's pretty cool the first time. But with that rich ad, I mean, every single time it's like you see different emotions in somebody's reaction. So I think that really adds a huge personal human aspect to it, which makes it scalable without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, how many ads do y'all kind of use actively at one time? Are y'all kind of really rolling with 4 to 5? Are you testing shoot 10 to 12? How quick are you kind of finding out whether these ads are the rich ad or poor ads essentially?
Yeah, so it really depends on the week, and the content in the hopper. We have a solid amount of content in the hopper, so we're usually testing around 2 to 3 ads per week. Um, and if we see something hit, then we just scale it out. It's kind of like our a repeating testing process that we have.
That makes total sense. And with y'all, what are the odds of the ads not working, kind of turning into that poor ad? Would you say it's 50-50, 70-30, rich ad, poor ad? Or I'm kind of curious because I mean, with this hot sauce, I haven't seen any bad ads where I'd be like, man, it's got to be really rough for it not to really work that well.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. Like 80% of ads, I would say, fail or don't live up to the standard of the rich ad, right? If
Yeah.
every ad was super successful, then we could scale everything to the moon. But it's really just a cadence of trying new things, seeing what works, and pushing it out. You're not gonna have a superstar ad every time, and that's okay. But if your superstar is at 100%, and you see ads that are landing at 80 to 90, like those are great ads, and we run with those. And then probably one out of every 10 we hit a superstar, and then we scale that one. It really just depends. I mean, sometimes we've had really good back-to-back ads. um, that's happened before. We just keep launching good ads. Now we have them, but sometimes we test for a while, and nothing really hits, and that's just kind of part of the creative process, is just seeing what works, what doesn't, trying to tap into different audiences. um, and we have to switch up our styles. Putting out too much of the same type of content, like, then it
Mhm.
becomes stale. You need to hit different angles, try completely different ads. That's kind of what we go for.
Now, are you going to be with these rich ads? Do you stick with that same copy style with that same video, or do you ever kind of switch up the angles of the copy itself, or is it more of a creative angle that you're kind of mentioning there?
It's both, to be honest. Yeah, we switch up the copy angle. Like, this angle is obviously cooked from home. We have
Yeah.
a list of different angles that we try to work and hit off of, that we think resonates with different people. But we also try to work in those angles into the videos that we produce as well.
Man, that's pretty killer. Now, for a brand this kind of large, how do y'all come about coming up with these videos? Is it really just getting a badass set together, trying to get as many different, variations as possible, and then just kind of testing them out? Or do y'all go in with a game plan to kind of say, hey, let's get a video of this, this? I understand the Rich ad was 100% a game plan, but are most of those ads that perform, pretty good? Are they mostly kind of planned out pretty solidly?
It really depends. Like, yeah, the rich ad was obviously planned. Um, that was an idea that myself and Nikki and one of the co-founders of Truff had, and we just had a gut instinct that would work, and it did. But one of the things that we also do is we have a roster of talent that we use and have created over the years, of just different people. We found different creatives are good at different things. Like, some creatives are really good at creating POV content. Other creatives are good at, VFX. It just like goes on. So we basically tap into these different creatives to see what they come up with. And then also, just like being on, how we came up with that truck dancing video is, Nick G was able to, he found a guy who was creating those creating videos like that, like these really cool animated videos. And we hit him up and said, "Hey, like, can you make this into a Truff ad?" And then from there, we got it and we ran it. So it's really keeping a lookout for that, knowing different creative people who have different talents and tapping into them and seeing what they can do. I think creatives, you can really let them, you give them some direction and let them run and see what they can come up with. And sometimes it hits really well, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always a process.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you're never gonna have that one hit wonder out of the gate. So I mean, it's good to have those multiple variations there. Well, shoot. Well, we luckily dove into the poor ad, which last 3 days, bad performance. Let's go ahead and cut that bad boy. But for that top ad, man, that one just consistently got 30, 35% above most of those other top ads there. So I mean, shoot, those numbers don't lie to where I wasn't expecting that kind of poor ad there. But hey, numbers don't lie. So Blake, man, that was honestly super juicy. I love that stuff. How can people kind of get in touch with you? What's your website, Facebook, LinkedIn? How can people kind of get in touch with you and kind of stay up to date with what you're doing at Truff?
Yeah, if you want to give me a follow on what's it called? Oh, Twitter. That'd be dope. You can it's Blake A Driver, so that's how you can follow me on Twitter. You could also visit our agency website. That's still in the process of being made, but it's advisory.marketing. So yeah, those are the best two ways. You could also send me an email, blake@advisory.marketing as well. If you want to hit up and chat, I'm always open to talk.
Well, heck yeah, y'all. Hope you enjoyed this one. It was a very hot, hot, hot podcast. Make sure to check out Truff Hot Sauce online. But hey, man, once again, thank you so much for the time. And hey, I hope you have a good rest of your day over there.
Thanks. You too.